Hello, awesome people. I hope you're having a great day today. Today we're taking a look at the next short story. Is the penultimate one in this collection, Lean Times in Lankhmar by Fritz Leiber. It's called The Best Two Thieves in Lankhmar, which is the key central setting of the place for you folks. It's about 17 pages long. It took me about 32 minutes for me to read it last night for the second time, and I definitely enjoyed heading back and rereading it. I like its ending. I think it's a lot of fun. Now, the first short story in this collection, Two-Sided Adventure, was about... I've already reviewed for you folks, and it also was published back in 1939 in the pulp era. And that was his first short story that he got published too. What's in this collection is The Jewels in the Forest. It's been renamed. It's also in other collections with that title too. He was publishing up through the early 90s when he died in 1992, Fritz Leiber did. And he published in every decade from the 30s to the 90s. And a guy who published decades ago, but for a long, long time and was as prolific as Fritz Leiber was. This is the key passion of my channel. The worst thing about new books. A quote by a French philosopher, Jacques Joubert, who said that the worst thing about them was that they kept us from reading the old books. And so therefore you can see my passion sort of being unfurled here in this collection for you folks. And this heavily influential guy. Well, he's one of the most awarded people out there. He's got tons of Hugos. He's got a Bro Stoker Award for his horror stuff. And he also has, this series has some Hugo, has been some awards too, like Hugos. So it's a lot of fun stuff out there. And that was a fan favorite for a long, long time. So again, this is the penultimate short story for you folks. The next one in here is a 100 plus page novella. So it'll be a longer read. It's the third novella in this book, and this fifth one so far in this series for you folks that I've been going back and doing a deep dive into as a part of my passions for you folks. So let's go ahead and get started with the review. As a reminder, my reviews are spoiler free, so we won't be spending that much of a deep dive into it. But I do want to sort of bring you out about the speed. At the end of the previous novella, Stardock, they came back with a special magical set of gems. Fafhrd and the Gray Mouser are two thief protagonists. And now they are trying, and they after being sort of ornery of each other because of their long journey with just each other as company, as well as what to do with the gems, and disagreeing, they have split up their take. And so now they are trying to figure out what to do with it. One person's going to go see a fence, another person's going to go see a gem seller who's blind. And so the two of them run into each other on the way to their various places, and ideally will try to sell their hard to sell gems to the blind jeweler because the gems are visible during the day but visible at night when they glow. And then the other one is to the fence, who only does her business at night, in the cover of night, and believes that they'll be protected. So that way, they'll be able to get their stuff and get their payments and so forth without worrying about feeling like might be stolen and so forth. So they're going to go out there. They call themselves the Two Best Thieves in Lankhmar. On their way to their separate places. Anyway, they'll arrive at their separate places. Obviously, things won't work as they thought they would, and that's the rest of the short story for y'all. So I'll leave you there. About 4 or 5 pages into the 18 page short story that I read last night. About 32 minutes. So it was a lot of fun for you folks. Again, The Two Best Thieves in Lankhmar. I enjoyed it. Thought it was a lot of fun. But it wasn't like this, and it felt like an appropriate short story. Long thing. It's got an ending. It's fun. I enjoyed, so I'm giving this probably about a 7.5 out of 10. It's fun, it's enjoyable, but it's not like this, and used its length well and was well paced, so I liked it. So there you are. I'll go ahead and leave you to it. Have you read The Two Best Thieves in Lankhmar? If so, what did you think about it? Let's talk about it in the comments below. Also, as a reminder, I talked earlier about how influential this guy is. He was pretty influential. For example, pretty much all modern fantasy works, like role-playing games and video games and books and comics, have taken his characters and concepts and put them into modern worlds. For example, if you are reading about thieves with a thieves' guild in this large giant seedy city, doing thieves things that are common for the modern sort of era, then that came from this series. Again, got started published in 1939 in a pre-Tolkienian era. Then his stuff was heavily influential in the big giant city with Horror Street and the Plaza of Dark Delights and those sorts of things. Also, if you have a big giant city that's CD and dominates the plane, then this is also coming from Fritz Leiber's world building. So that's kind of cool too. Also, I also mentioned role-playing games also have taken it. There was a role-playing game in the 70s that was the first role-playing game called Dungeons & Dragons in its first edition Dungeon Master's Guide in 1979. The co-founder, Kerry Gygax, in Appendix N, lists all his sources from where he got his inspiration, and this is roll called out as a key inspiration. Also, this was, speaking of Dungeons & Dragons, this is a campaign setting for folks in the 80s. So it's heavily influential. So you just can't read modern fantasy. So going back and rereading this again is a passion of this project because of how influential this thing is. So there you are. I'll go ahead and leave you to it. So if you enjoyed this video, why not hit that subscribe button? There's going to be a lot more of these videos to follow. And then finally, I just want to thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and investing it and watching my video. We all have so many things that are happening in our lives, and we're pulled in so many different directions. So the fact that you spent this time with me is incredibly humbling, and I appreciate it. So thanks again, and have an amazing day.